Hola chicos, hoy vamos a discutir el tiempo, or the weather. Los objetivos para hoy: explain why we don't use ser to describe the weather, although we use ser for other things. Explain when to use estar rather than hacer. And respond to the question, ¿qué tiempo hace? Vamos a empezar con un poquito de repaso. Usamos el verbo ser para describir cosas físicas. So if you remember in class, we talk about the question ¿cómo es? This is to describe something. When you hear those words ¿cómo es?, I'm asking you to use the verb ser to describe that item. ¿Cómo es la taza? ¿Cómo es el móvil? We also use that question ¿cómo eres? To describe yourself. ¿Cómo eres? Soy baja, soy morena. Cosas como así. Usamos hacer para describir el tiempo, the weather, con un sustantivo. So we use this verb hacer. It means to make or do, but we use it to describe the weather with a noun because you can't reach out and touch the physical things. So we use sol, for example, hace sol, it's sunny. Sol is the noun rather than the adjective, which we'll talk about a little bit later, what you might do if you're using an adjective instead. But with the noun, using with that hacer, you're not actually reaching out and touching the sun. You're just saying that it is sunny outside. There is the sun in the sky, and you can see the sun rays, and it's nice and warm. It has really good weather. No usamos ser porque no es física, es una idea. So like I said, you can't reach out and touch it. It's not something physical. It's just an idea or something you can kind of feel on your skin maybe and you can see, but you can't reach out and touch it. Algunas frases del tiempo con hacer. Primera, hace buen tiempo, it's good weather. Hace mal tiempo, bad weather. Hace frío, hace mucho frío. Or you could say hace muchísimo frío. It's cold, it's very cold, it's extremely cold outside. Hace calor, same idea, hace mucho calor, hace muchísimo calor. That's for really hot. Hace sol, it's sunny. Hace nubes, it's cloudy. Hace viento, it's windy. All of these are phrases you can use to describe the weather outside, and they're very common to use the hacer plus a noun. So buen tiempo, mal tiempo, frío, calor, sol, nubes, y viento are all examples of nouns that we have attached to the verb hacer. All right, para usar el verbo estar. Recuerdes que puedes usar estar con yendo y ando para hablar de una situación que transcurre. So this is like the ing in English. Yendo is attached, or you take off your er, put yendo on the end. Take off the ar, put ando on the end to make it the ing, or the gerund in English. Estoy hablando, I conjugate estar, and I took my AR off hablar and put ando to say I am talking. Estás escuchando. ¿Qué estás haciendo? These are some examples of times you might see or use this idea of the ing. So, like I said, you're going to conjugate estar. And usa estar para el tiempo cuando hay una acción que transcurre, when the action is happening at this moment. It is currently raining outside. It is snowing. So we have these frases tiempo con estar. They're all actions. So there are a couple of more other things you could say. Maybe it's hailing outside or it's sleeting. But the most common ones will be está lloviendo, it's raining outside, and está nevando, it's snowing. Note that even with hacer and estar, we're using the third person singular. That's because el tiempo, the weather itself, is third person singular. And since we're talking about el tiempo, you're going to keep your verb in the third person singular as well. There's another time that we use estar. Puedes usar estar con adjetivos que describen el tiempo. Es más normal usar hacer en lugar de esto. So it is more common to hear the idea of hacer, hacer sol en lugar de está soleado, but you can use the adjective with estar. So we're going to look at this example here. We have lluvia. This is rain, the sustantivo, the noun of rain. Because it's a noun, we use it with hacer. Hace lluvia. If we change this and make it an adjective, lluvioso, with the adjectives we use with estar, está lluvioso. And then llover, to rain, is the verb. So we're going to conjugate it with the gerund or the ing. And again, use it with estar. Está lloviendo. It's an ER, so we take off the ER, put IENDO. All right, vamos a practicar poquito. Use las apuntes, your notes, para responder a la pregunta, ¿qué tiempo hace en cada foto? So if you go through these, hopefully you will. So if you are in my class, you have access to a series of photos you can go through. For each one, I'd like you to come up with something to talk about the weather. Here, for example, you could say, hace frío. Maybe you think it's really bad weather in this picture, you could say hace mal tiempo. Maybe you love the snow and the cold, and so you might want to say hace buen tiempo. So go through each of these on your own. Make sure you can answer that question. ¿Qué tiempo hace? ¿Qué tiempo hace? What's the weather like in each photo? Hasta luego.